Dr. Balram Bhargav, DG ICMR, and also the Secretary of the Department of Health Research, Dr. Hemlata ji, Dr. Samiran Panda, Dr. Padma, Dr. Rohit Bhatia, other distinguished scientists present in today's function. Thanks all of you for giving me this privilege to be part of this very important function, which should go down in history as a historic one, because for the first time you have recorded history of ICMR in a very sophisticated and, I would say, modern way. And this is something which probably when I was looking at that history being depicted in just a portion of a wall of the institution, I thought that every institution should have similar activities done, because when I visit the science labs and other departments, which in the last 6 years I have visited so many all across the country, every institution has a very glorious history, but not many people know about it. Unless somebody is inquisitive about it and somebody has his interest in history, people come and go, but they really don't know that who and when and how contributed to this present stage when we are leading from the front. So let me congratulate you, because it's a very glorious history of more than 100 years. I had the privilege to be here in other functions also. Had the privilege to honor many scientists and remember many scientists of the past history also. So first of all, let me pay my heartfelt tributes to the memory of all those who have contributed in the big way to the growth story of ICMR. It may not be possible to remember them individually, but all of us, I think, all of you would also join me in paying our tributes to their memory. And whatever these inaugurations and activities that have been proposed today and that have been done, I think they are all very, very important. If I start with NIN, which has a long history, again more than 100 years, and then so many stages of that, when these deficiency diseases and beriberi and so many places where we have had new achievements added. I personally have a very huge amount of respect for the work that NIN has also done. When I was neither the Health Minister of India, but 20 years back, in 2000, I had the privilege to attend a function in NIN campus. The function was not related to NIN, but it was inside the NIN campus, and it was a keynote address that I had delivered there in that campus about the health vision for the 21st century, in presence of the then Union Health Minister, Dr. C.P. Thakur. That was the first time I had entered the NIN campus. And when I had finished with my function and I realized that this was such a brilliant and historic place, So although I was not even invited for the NIN activities, it was the campus was used for that function, which that was a function for the scientists and the doctors of South India. So I had on my own. I think Dr. Hemlata was not there as a director at that time, but she was there, and I spent the almost the whole day after the function at the NIN campus and studied so many things from closer quarters, and I could appreciate that extraordinary work has been done there in the last 50, 60 years after independence, but not much of it is known to the country, not much of it is being utilized by the country, and that was my feeling 20 years back. And 20 years down the line, I can appreciate that the way we have progressed in last 20 years. I think more than 100 times work must have been done in these 20 years. In the during the last year also, 2019, when I had visited another science laboratory across the road, I made it a point to visit NIN for some time, and then had a meeting with your scientists, informal meeting. That was not an official visit. Then again I could appreciate that this is something which needs to be reworked at, in the sense that whatever is being done here, it has to go to the masses, it has to go to the people, because I strongly believe that if we can take care of two issues in the country, right nutrition for the people and right lifestyle habits about physical activity and all, we can actually take care of the major part of the health. And of course then aided by many other factors like good quality water, good quality sanitation, good quality air, environment, all those things. But these two things are very, very basic: nutrition and physical activity. And right now, the publications that you have made, the research that you have done, the studies that you have done about the dietary habits and all those nutritional values of various foods and regional, you can say, studies. I don't want to get into the details of what those things are. I had a preview of all that. I feel that a strategy has to be planned whereby we can actually ensure that whatever good work has been done and whatever the outcomes of that research are, they are in some manner or the other, by making a good quality public health movement, we are able to ensure that they are delivered to the common people of India, and they are able to appreciate it, because still most of the lot of diseases in this country are because of bad nutrition or bad food habits, all these junk foods and so many things, and especially our younger people, the way they are spoiling their health because of that. And with the science around nutrition, you can produce a lot of tasty food also with very good quality nutritional values also, and which can actually start eliminating the diseases from a human body. I have studied this aspect also very, very closely, and I feel that there is so much of huge potential in this. So that's why, in fact, in the health ministry also, in the last 1.5 years or so, I tried to focus the attention of FSSAI on the Eat Right India movement. And you will be happy to know that in the Eat Right India movement, the FSSAI has been recognized for an international award also for consideration. So this is where I feel that on one hand we have FSSAI, where movements like Eat Right India can grow, and of course they have the whole control about how the foods in the society can be regulated and in fact monitored. And then on the other side there is already a Fit India movement which is growing, which is also one of the passionate subjects of the Prime Minister also. And then there is, to add to this, the Poshan Abhiyan, the National Nutrition Mission. It has also started working for the last 2-3 years, whereby this is not like a routine symbolic activity. We do a National Nutrition Day or a Nutrition Week or a Poshan Mah. This is something which has to be preached, practiced, and in fact developed every moment of our life. So there is a very strong scope. In fact, myself and the Women and Child Development Minister, Mrs. Smriti Irani, we are writing a joint letter to all the chief ministers and all the health ministers to see how best we can utilize the country's potential to address these issues related to Poshan, and there for the scientific knowledge, technical backing, practical knowledge, all those issues, NIN should be the backbone. I personally feel that all our academic bodies, they should come out of their shell. They can't be only producing papers and documents. They have to go to the society. Their public outreach has to be super, and they have to be part of the health movement now. So ICMR, NIN, FSSAI with the Eat Right India movement, then the Ministry of Youth and Sports with the Fit India movement, and then of course the Ministry of Women and Child with the Poshan Abhiyan and the issues like anemia and all, which are taken care of by the Health Ministry also. And to add to this, a quality addition to this is the contribution from the Ayush Ministry, where they have ensured that things like yoga and other lifestyle activities, they are not only on paper, they have brought them outside the research domain into public, and now it's millions of people all over the world are. So I would consider this meeting as successful when if we can really enlarge the scope of our working and our vision, and this will contribute very, very significantly, because the country cannot afford to still talk about malnutrition. It's now 70 years, so we must have a very dynamic target, that when the Prime Minister is dreaming about delivering a new India to all Indians by 2022, when he wants that every child should have adequate health facilities, adequate care for education, adequate you can say care for nutrition, and when he wants everybody to have the smile back on his or her face, I think we are the major players, whether it is the people in the health sector or whether it is the people in the science sector. We have to play a major role in ensuring that dream is realized. And all these issues like personally I feel that why should there be anemia? What is the rocket science in handling anemia? What is the rocket science in handling malnutrition? With so much of work that has been done over the years, it is only that the outcomes of the good work that has been done, we have not been able to deliver them, or maybe use them in the right perspective, in the right manner, with the right people, and have not been able to monitor the progress. Otherwise, it is not big, nothing big about it. There is no rocket science. Like we say that there is no rocket science involved in handling COVID. If you handle the 4 small things, you can handle COVID. Those who have handled it well, they have been able to keep themselves away from COVID for 9 months. Otherwise, those who could not even take care of the basics, they got the COVID also. So this is about the nutrition. I think I must congratulate the National Institute of Nutrition, and I would love NIN now to be seen more and more outside in the country. Not that you are not outside in the country, all your research is because you have gone outside the country, but now the focus for next 2 years, I personally feel from 21 and 22, should be on ensuring that whatever you have done in the last 73 years, each and everything, how do we take it to the people? And for this, there has to be a very active collaboration and synergy between at least minimum these organizations. Of course, there are many other issues, as I mentioned, water and all, they all help. Good quality potable water, if you can provide to everyone, it helps in the health scenario. Sanitation movement is already there. There is a movement for housing is there. There is a movement for clean air. There is a national clean air campaign. All those things are already adding. But these are the basics which people have to do themselves. Physical activity and nutrition. This is something which we have to promote. We have to motivate. We have to educate. And we have to monitor. And if we can teach and educate people in the right manner, everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to have good food. We have to just strategize. That's what I personally feel about the whole subject. Then, of course, I'm so happy that we have this stroke mobile unit, and Dr. Padma and Dr. Bhatia, they are also here. This is something unique. I didn't know that in Northeast we have this high level of stroke cases. To the extent it was mentioned, something like 2/3 of the population is prone, and two-third is hypertension, and 1/3 are prone to stroke.
No, 1/3 in the population and 2/3 of tea workers are having.
But that also is a very, very huge number.
Very high.
Means it is beyond, I think, at least my imagination, that 1/3 is a very big, and 2/3 is also a very big data. So that's a great experiment with and of course we can work on it, and then we see how we replicate similar exercises, how we improve upon these exercises, and how others can also emulate. So I would congratulate neurology department of AIIMS, and then it is another Ludhiana, CMC Ludhiana also, who are going to help through telemedicine and other mechanisms, people in the field, and more particularly in the Northeast. So we need to congratulate our friends in Assam and Tejpur also, who were there on the video and who described us and who took us to that visit inside the. We had similar experiments about labs around COVID also, and there's a mobile health is a well-established thing now in the country. 25 years back, I used to see that in a big way in the Delhi itself, but that was the basic, a doctor and a few people to help, a CATS ambulance. But now these are all getting magnified and scaled up in terms of quality and everything. So that's a great idea. Everybody deserves appreciation and congratulations. Then of course the vaccine portal is, I think, something which I personally feel would have the maximum hits, because my experience of last couple of months is that everybody in the society, wherever I go, in whatever type of settings, or wherever I talk, whether I am talking to anybody on the phone or in any way, everybody has so much of queries and inquisitive, and everyone is so desperately waiting for a vaccine, at least against COVID now, that and then because the information keeps, it's a dynamic information, it keeps changing every day. So I would suggest that we should make this vaccine web portal very, very informative, and then we should in the search for, normally when the other vaccines are searched, maybe we are having a research on dengue vaccine for so many years, you tried for HIV and all, but COVID is something in last 73 years which is being watched so closely by everybody. And even the illiterate people, they also talk about something like, what is this phase 1 trial, what is this phase 2, what is this phase 3, because these terms have become so common. Earlier they were common amongst the medical fraternity or those who are involved in this research, but now the people are also knowing. So I think, I don't know, I have not studied the portal as on today, but we should describe all these things in simple language in detail. What is a vaccine discovery story? What is vaccine development? How do we develop it? And what are the various phases of trials? What is preclinical trial? What is trial in an animal? What is a trial in a human being? What is phase 2? What is phase 3? Like yesterday somebody asked me that question in my Sunday Samvad, that will one vaccine be, you can say, adequate to deal with people of various ethnic regions? We have so much of diversity in the country. So I had to tell them that this phase 3 involves thousands of people, and these people are from various regions, various ethnic cultures and all those things. So all these things, I think, if we can really describe, so that for once, at least the major chunk of India who has, right now everybody has interest in vaccine development. So this is a sort of a blessing in disguise, that we shall be able to teach our country about how do we actually produce a vaccine, how do we search for a vaccine, and how do we develop a vaccine. And everybody will take a lot of interest. Plus, I would also suggest, I don't know whether that is there or not, all the, number one, the vaccines which are already there, there are many in the vaccine, our universal immunization program. There are a couple of vaccines which are not in the universal immunization program, but the vaccines are well established. People can take those vaccines. So we could really put that these are other vaccines also. These are required for maybe selectively people if they want. Plus there are many vaccines, like I know I have been hearing about the dengue vaccine for many years, and every time we say that it's almost nearing completion. But the actual status of all other vaccines, whether it is related to tuberculosis or if something is happening on malaria or wherever, we should put the status there so that people can have access to everything, and everything is written in a transparent manner, that this vaccine trial started here, this time such and such things have happened, we are likely results of that. And then of course the frequently asked questions right now, which are being worked out by the committee headed by Dr. Paul, about how do we give it to the people, who are the people who shall be given the vaccine, will it be given to the whole country? So many people ask all these things. So I think this, I'm sure your portal, vaccine portal, will become the most popular portal right now. And then of course the last thing that you have done is this National Clinical Registry. This is also very important. So many new issues are emerging, so many cases of reinfection are emerging, and people have a lot of concern and apprehensions about those issues. Then of course so many drugs that you have used, whether some drugs have been used as an emergency authorization, or some have been used regularly, then what is happening. There was a hype for plasma at one point of time. There was a hype for remdesivir, so that it has been used, I think, is not judiciously now. Everybody who goes to the hospital, people think that let us start with remdesivir, because otherwise he might go into a cytokine storm and all. So all those things, whatever is the exact status, like for plasma you have done 452 patients, what are the exact results, so that everything is written there in a transparent manner. You go to the site, you read what is there. And then of course this story about how we could that is something which is being lauded by everyone, that from a place one place where we could have this virus tested, we now have over 1830 places in private and public sector. Then how from the time when the swab used to be sent to this National Center for Disease Control in this Atlanta and all, CDC, Center for Disease Control, not our NCDC. So from that time till today, at least for this particular virus. And then how we created these, because it was during the lockdown, it was difficult. There were no vehicles, there was no system. And then to create these facilities, send all the equipment, send all the kits, and send all the various other things that you had to for creation of those labs. I think that is also one story that should be written in a very nice manner. And from the time when everybody in this country used to shout at us, saying, why are you doing so many, so little number of tests? Tests used to be shouted by people on every television channel. And today, this week we did 15 lakh tests, 13 lakh tests, 12 lakh tests, 14 lakh tests. That is something, I think all this story has to come on this clinical registry. And of course there are so many other things, how the story about getting these indigenous kits now, producing 10 lakh kits a day, reducing the prices, no longer dependent on importing things from China and other countries. We are in a position to export. I think this is the best place where you could put all these. I think we should for every aspect of the COVID fight story, you should put, I think, assign the responsibility to different people so that they can write it in great detail. Because everybody hears every day from 1 to 1839. But what were the bottlenecks in going from there to there, and how those bottlenecks were taken care of? How we drove smoothly on that road to success in spite of all those difficulties. That is something which will be worth knowing, because people may not know that you have created a regional depot, you have created a depot in every state to deliver things, how it was done during the lockdown, and how our journey has not stopped even at this point. How we promised that by 31st May we will go to 1 lakh, but we reached there only on 10th of May. How we promised we will go to 1 million in a 12 weeks time, but we went there, achieved that goal within 4 weeks. So all this has to come on record. Once, if COVID is over, then you may not have the, most of the things people will remember now. So they have to be all put on record. I think this is what I thought, my thoughts about what has been done today. ICMR, we know it's a very, very prestigious organization, and then long history, you have a glorious history. We have to appreciate everybody's contribution, and we all feel proud of your achievements, and we also remember people like Dr. Ganga Khetkar, who are so doctor अपनी वो आज she's not there, अपनी जो लैब वाली
Dr. Nivedita, she's I think gone for a VC.
अच्छा, she's not there.
VC वो Delhi का बंदा.
She's not there. Anyway, not to name any particular, but all of you, I know, I have seen many of you in my meeting, but I have not seen many of you because you were working, all working behind the scenes. So it has all happened in a very, very dynamic manner. Everybody has contributed in a big way. It's a total government approach, total society approach. And I think if with a little more persuasion and perseverance, we should be able to handle COVID in this year itself. Only we have to further strengthen this preventive aspect amongst the society members. So whatever best possible we can do, we should do. We are already doing it. So once again, I'm sorry I had to come for this function on 7th, but for my personal reasons I couldn't. I had to postpone that function. So, but I'm happy that this function has taken place now. I want to see NIN more and more inside in the field now.